Good morning guys from my hotel room in Sidcup, London, where today I am going to be travelling into the centre of London by catching 3 London buses. Now, a little bit of a confession to make. I have never travelled on a standard London bus before, ever. So I had to do a little bit of research on what you're supposed to do. Now I'm going to be showing you all that in the video, and when I get to the end, hopefully, there's going to be a little surprise in store for you. So yeah, come with me. I'm sure it'll be entertaining. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we'll find that out, won't we? I'll see you downstairs, wait for the bus, and yeah, get on board and we'll see what it's like. Catch you in a bit. Right, so the first bus apparently is the 286, which I think there's a... looks like there's a bus stop up there. What does it say? Stop L. Sidcup Station, Station Road. So hopefully that's the... oh yeah, that's Stop L. That's a good start, isn't it? That's Stop L there. It says so on the top. So we're just going to cross this road and yeah, wait for it to turn up. 9 minutes apparently according to the Google Maps, and let's go. Okay, well it says buses on the side. What was the number I wanted? (286). 286 is on the signpost. Okay, well, let's see what turns up. This is the one. Shame it's not a double decker, but yes, I've got to stick to the plan. That's how you do it. Right, so I was on board my first bus, which was the 286 that was coming from Queen Mary's Hospital to stand L on Station Road here in Sidcup, and then all the way to Greenwich Town Centre. Now I normally put a little map on the screen at this point just to show you where I'm heading, but to maintain the element of surprise I thought I'd leave it out this time, and yeah, maybe you could tell me where I would eventually end up later on in the journey. The bus sped on its way, and as you just saw, it's really easy to pay. You just hold your Oyster card or payment card against the reader by the driver and you're on. Now, like I said, I'd done a little bit of research, and I believe that once I tapped in with my card, I would be charged, at the time of this video, just £1.75, regardless of how many other buses I used within the hour. And I guess on each subsequent tap in, it registers the time since the initial use, and it works out whether I'm still within the hour or not. And I think that's right, as yeah, the TfL website says, our Hopper fare gives you unlimited journeys within 1 hour of touching in for just £1.75.
286 to Greenwich Cuddy Sark.
We were just parked up here outside Eltham railway station, where we had a driver change. Now this first bus I later found out was a 7-year-old single-decker Wright Streetlight DF apparently. The first impressions seemed like a pretty standard bus to me. 2-2 configuration, seating, a legroom was okay I suppose, and you have a large accessible area about halfway down the bus for wheelchairs, pushchairs, etc. And we left Eltham, and yeah, you may have noticed that the convention is to enter at the front of the bus and leave via the central doors as shown here. I noticed there's no card reader here, as importantly, and I didn't know this until I looked it up, you do not tap out when you leave a bus. So alongside the A2 here, and the last time I came up this road I was travelling with Flixbus all the way from Paris. I'll link to that video here if you'd like to see how I got on, but I can tell you what, that was a journey and a half. Now we turn off briefly towards Blackheath Common, passing some rather posh looking houses before heading north to meet up with the Blackwall Tunnel Southern Approach Road.
Tyler Street.
Now after turning left, the bus continues towards its final destination, Greenwich Town Centre, but I was getting off 5 steps before at Tyler Street, where I would need to catch my next bus onwards. Right guys, well that was easy enough, wasn't it? Well, I dropped the bottle at the end, but yeah, now then, I have alighted at stand L, and now I need the 188 to Surrey Quays Leisure Park. Apparently it goes to the same stand, so that's easy enough, isn't it? It's just a case now of waiting around for one of those to show up, and we'll see how we go. Any ideas where I'm going yet? Let me know in the comments below. And to my delight, the 188 to Tottenham Court Road was a double-decker, another 67 plate, but yeah, this was a Volvo B5LH Right Eclipse Gemini 3. And note, I'm tapping in here again, but because I'm within an hour from tapping in back at Sidcup, I shouldn't be charged any more money.
188 to Tottenham Court Road.
And naturally I made my way upstairs as the bus moved off. One thing's for sure, these drivers certainly don't hang about at stops, do they? Okay, right, so made it on to the 188 service, and it is a double decker, which is great, so I headed straight for the top deck. You're all going to plan at the moment. Obviously I'm lugging around this one. The rucksack as well, I'm trying to film at the same time, so it's a little bit more difficult than it would ordinarily be. But yeah, Greenwich, we're headed on to Surrey Quays, so yeah, then there's another bus change there, so here we go.
188.
Now Greenwich is one of my favourite places in London. I think it's beautiful, and there are so many things to see and do. You've got the old Royal Naval College here on the right, obviously the Cutty Sark, the Royal Observatory, the Prime Meridian, loads of quirky shops, and honestly you could spend a week just looking around Greenwich, let alone the rest of London. And what better way to see the sights than on the top of a London bus, and pick the right route and you can forget about all these hop on hop off city tour buses. Do your own tour for a fraction of the price. It's a bit of a no-brainer really, isn't it, that? We cross Deptford Creek here, and I'm assuming this bridge lifts up to allow boats to pass, or used to anyway. And then we pass another bridge, though I'm not quite sure what used to run underneath this, as I guess the area has been developed quite considerably over time. Now there seems to be quite a lot of development going on in the area, and we pass the lovely old building of Deptford Park Primary School before reaching the Greenland Dock Bascule Bridge, which is the only one of four in the area that remains in its original position. And then we reach Canada Water Bus Station, which is my cue to disembark and catch my final bus of today's journey. Again, this is somewhere I've never been before, but Google Maps is totally invaluable in these situations. Now back in Sidcup, I just typed in where I wanted to go using directions and public transport, and Google Maps does the rest. It tells me where to get off, which buses to catch too. Easy. So I knew I now needed the C10 bus to Victoria, and within 5 minutes it had arrived. I didn't even have to change stands. BV69KTP, a 4-year-old Kitano E-City Gold, and you can tell by the name, can't you? This was a single-decker electric bus. Now I tapped in again here and made my way towards the rear of the bus this time. A little bit of a different interior this, as you can see. There are some rear-facing seats as well, but again pretty quiet, both in noise and passenger numbers, isn't it? Right guys, yeah, Canada Street bus station is where I actually had to get the second bus to, and then it was a quick change to the C10 bus, an electric bus actually, and 7 stops to go I think, until I get to my destination. Have you figured out where I'm going yet, and what I'm going to do when I get there? Well, it's not far away, so let's enjoy the rest of the ride. I think this was probably the smartest bus of the three. It seemed a lot brighter than the others. You've got visual stop displays here at the rear too, which I suppose is for the people sitting with their backs to the driver. The seats were comfortable enough, although generally speaking that could be said for all 3 of the buses I was on. And note that this bus, unlike the previous 2, did have some USB charging provision installed, which was good.
Please hold on to the handrails when the bus is moving.
There were grab handles on the seats, and we were told to use them just after leaving Onega Gate bus stop. And yeah, I guess the problem with rear-facing seats is that some less respectful passengers, they're just going to use the opposite seat as a footrest. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, it was time for me to depart, and so I positioned myself at the middle doors, don't forget, and alighted at my final bus stop of the day. The price I paid for these 3 journeys was £3.50 in the end, so I reckon when I tapped in for this final bus, it was over an hour since my initial tap-in back in Sidcup. I think that's right, but yeah, like I said, I'm a total novice when it comes to this, so please let me know if I did anything wrong or whether I could have done things differently. Your comments are most appreciated. Right guys, the C10 electric bus just got off that at Doubletree Docklands Nelson Dock Pier. Now can you tell where I'm heading to? I'm sure you can. Anyway, what do you think of that? Yeah, it was pretty smooth and very, very frequent, as you would expect in the capital city. Yeah, really good. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I've got to sort of lug around my rucksack and film at the same time. So I think if you're just travelling light, then it's a lot easier, isn't it? But anyway, I promised you a surprise at the end, and this is what it is. So, like I said, I'm at Doubletree, the Hilton Doubletree Docklands Nelson Dock Pier, and of course I'm going to head over to Nelson Dock Pier now, and I'm going to be taking the ferry over to the other side of the Thames at Canary Wharf. RB4 I think it is, so let's go and have a look. I haven't done it before, so yeah, we'll go and have a look, see how we get on. I'll catch you in a bit. By the way, I've no idea where I'm going. I've kind of ended up in the hotel area, but I think I'm pretty much in the right part. Look what's around here. Ooh. Yeah, I couldn't find an obvious way in from the road, so I ended up in the hotel reception area. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? I'm sure they get people wandering around all the time looking for the ferry. Right, okay. Well, that doesn't look good, does it? I've got to where the ferry goes from, but yeah, look at this. That says to me it's not open. Not yet, anyway. Let's make some inquiries. Right, so I had a look on Google Maps, and it is scheduled to run at 1300. Now, when I was researching this last night, I did notice that they have a kind of a schedule break, and I think one of the break periods is between 12 and 1, something like that, so that would make sense, wouldn't it? The ferry's definitely there. So it's lovely round here, isn't it? Got Canary Wharf in the background. Yeah, fantastic, and very historic as well. Look at the dock crane there, and you've got one of the Uber boats making its way up the Thames. I tried one of those out a year or so back. If you haven't watched it, check out the video I made on that. I'll link to it up here. That was a fantastic trip. But yeah, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a break as well now. Have some lunch, and yeah, see you on the boat. And after lunch I wandered back up to the jetty. It's so quiet around here, and yeah, look at this, the hotel even has its own private beach at low tide. We'll get the deck chairs out later, shall we? Right, we're on our way. The guy came and unlocked the gates. 1 o'clock sailing across the Thames. So yeah, let's go and have a look, see what it's all about. So at the bottom of the gangway there is another familiar card reader. You get these on all the Uber boat entrances, and again it's just a case of scanning your card, but this time, unlike the bus, don't forget to scan it again once you get off on the other side. That's it, man. Cheers. Hi mate. Thank you. Can we go out the back, mate?
Nah.
Is it closed, is it? Cheers. Yeah, so on board the RB4 boat service across the Thames, and the crew seemed friendly enough, and yeah, as you just heard, there was no outside deck space available at the time of my visit. So it's two lounges, the one at the back I've just been in with some table seating, and this forward lounge with just airline style seats. Well, okay, there's no outside space at the moment, confirmed by the crew member, so I'll sit at the front, shall we, and see what it's like. That's fine. There really are some great views of the skyscrapers across the water at Canary Wharf from here, and I was sat next to the emergency hatch window type thing at the front, which was good, and we reversed off the jetty before moving forward to make our way swiftly across the Thames. And my vessel today was the Sky Clipper, a 24-year-old hydrocat with a top speed of 22 knots. It has a passenger capacity of 62, and it's also accessible for wheelchair users. Yeah, and I have to say, this was one of the shortest ferry crossings I've ever been on. And I reckon it took approximately 2 minutes to get from one side to the other. And the price of a single journey at the time of this video was £3.95. That's right, dearer than my 3 previous bus trips. But nevertheless, it made for an interesting end to the trip, the total price for which came to £7.45. Cheers, mate.
Yes, sir. Tap in, tap out. Thank you.
Don't forget to tap out, like I said before, and yeah, just pause here for a minute to look back on the Sky Clipper as it waited, engines running to take more passengers across the water. I made my way up the gangway at Canary Wharf where I would summarise the journey, but yeah, just before I do so, a quick question for you guys. Would you like to see me trying out some more London bus journeys? If so, do let me know your suggestions in the comments below. Now, like I said before, it was my first time, but yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. Right guys, Canary Wharf, London, and hope you enjoyed that little multimodal adventure, I guess you could call it. I did. Like I said before, my first time on the London bus network. It was a combination of a single-decker, a double-decker, a single-decker electric bus as well, and the frequency, the condition, everything was like really good, I thought, and really cheap as well. And I hope you'll agree. And yeah, I just ended it with a little trip over the Thames on RB4, the ferry from Nelson Dock, is it? Yeah, Nelson Dock over to Canary Wharf Pier, and which was more expensive than the bus journeys. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. So thank you very much for watching. I shall catch you on another adventure soon, and as always guys, cheers for now.